1, 2. Test 1, 2, 3. Hey, Romeo. Not sure if you can hear me. Give me 1 second. 1 second, peeps. Still testing a lot of this stuff out here. Thanks for helping me with the test. Alright. So I'm gonna need to know how the audio is here. Probably gonna put the lapel mic up, but just curious where I have the lapel mic right now. Curious how good, how bad the audio is. If anybody can help with that. I'm gonna fire up this second screen here, so that way we can communicate here. And in the future, in the very near future, we're gonna have a whole nother way where we can actually talk, where people can actually call in to something like this, or to where it's a screen share, and everybody calls in, whoever wants to call in, if you want to talk, if you want to say anything about the Crowley case. That's the goal. So not sure if you guys can hear me, how well the audio is, but it will make a big difference. This will be a good test, actually. Don't look at my password, okay? Alright. Let's go second here. Pause this. Okay, that's weird. And of course, battery is gonna die here. So just give me a few more minutes. I'll go over any questions, comments, or concerns first before I get going. I've only got a few things that I really want to talk about here, so anything else will be good to go. But if I don't get this power cord in, none of it is going to matter. So I apologize for that. I know how that can be very annoying. Alright, let's do this. Ah, of course. Of course. Okay. Probably going to come back to another stream here. Thanks everybody for helping me test this out, unless I can. Curious to see if it's still live or not. Oh, we're live. Okay. Excellent. Isn't it fun being live? Isn't it awesome? Alright. I'm probably stepping all over the microphone right now. So we've tested that out where the mic was. Now we're going to test it out where the mic should actually be. Surprised nobody has really found where the mic should actually be here. I should know that. So, alright. Get this started up. Hey everybody, I'm going to go right down the list here. And we will get going. Hey Romeo. Hey Ruby. Yes, I'm finally home. I'm here. It took me a while, but I'm a little late. She-Wolf, how's it going? Shannon, always good to see you. Okay. Oh, really? Mic sounds good. Goes in and out as you move. Yeah, because I had the mic kind of placed on top of here just to see how it was. So when I'm flipping, but I think it's better where I'm at right now, right? Hope so. Need more volume. Okay, good. A bit of static. Okay. How's it right now? How's everything doing? How are the doggies loving it? How are they liking it? Be very important before I move on. And like I said, I just got a few things to cover here, going back over the 485 page document. The last one that we got, the last 485, 488, I believe, 488. So this is the big one. This is the big puppy. Next will be to kind of separate all the different things in this and to separate all of the data that we have and try to put all of the separate data pieces in their own PDF to make it easy for people to find these documents, to look through these documents. So obviously some things I do want to take out, you know, and I already have. I don't know if I did in this version or not, but you know, like people's phone numbers, stuff like that. A lot of that I don't think is necessary, but I mean, the first 51 pages are just the actual evidence chain of custody of what they gathered. So it tells you everything about item 1A, right? It goes through all the different dates from 123 to 803 2015. Things like that maybe, you know, I mean, this is good. It's good that we got this, but I mean, compare this. This is what we got, probably with a few others. This is what we got from the Minnesota BCA. Compare that to the 94 pages and 464 photos that we got from the Apple Valley Police. It's a big difference. And we got more photos from the Minnesota BCA. So I got nothing bad to say about them. At least they have all these documents. Okay, sounds better. Okay, excellent. Yeah, is there any thunder? Got any thunder going on over there? I'm curious. I'd be curious to know here. Anyways, we're gonna get rolling. So, going through the book and trying to make sure, just fact checking, going back and forth, a lot of these different things. So what I started to do, I don't know if I did it with every exact thing, but I started to just kind of note these, just note certain pages that I wanted to make sure that I came back to. Like, for instance, this page here, and of course the pages aren't numbered here, but this is the narrative for BCA for their number S15-00662. And this is going over David Crowley's fingerprint card. So this is the fingerprint card from the FBI, from Travis Yarborough of the FBI, to Christopher Olson of the DPS, some part of the Minnesota BCA. And he says, Chris, here's what I got. Let me know if you need anything else. So they're getting David's fingerprint. And let's check the date on this. So this is 121. So at 121, it looks like, well, the original was at 121. So sometime after 121, possibly 122, 2015, is when the police finally get the fingerprint card that ties David to, or that could possibly tie David to any of the fingerprints that are found inside of that house, as long as they test for the fingerprints. And they did do a lot of tests, but the tests show that they were inconclusive. There's only one that was conclusive. I believe it was on page 30 or page 31, and it's David's left middle finger. That's it. That's the only thing that they could tie to it. But looking at this date here, 121, and you're like, wait a minute, they don't even have his, you know, prints. They haven't done anything, and everything is already starting with a double murder suicide by I believe by January 18th. Less than 24 hours right before they're going to actually look at David Crowley's body. The police theory, the press release number 2, is already saying the public is not in danger. We have our man. That's what they're basically saying. And so that's, you know, it's just, okay, so that thing stuck out to me, obviously, because I made a little note here. And, you know, one thing, okay, well, it's one thing here, well, it's one thing there. Pretty soon, you have a whole bunch of just different things that just don't seem to add up. And we'll see how far we get. So, all right, so no, okay, just enough to freak out the dogs. Okay, well, we don't want any thunder or anything like that freaking out the dogs, lightning, all that good stuff. In Northern California today, it was actually sprinkling. It wasn't raining, but it was sprinkling, which I thought was weird. I haven't seen that in a long time in the summertime like this. We're supposed to be in summer. That's interesting. So I made a note of that. But if you haven't had a chance to go through these documents, I know it looks like a lot. These are single pages, by the way. So it's not like there's something on two sides. So just cut this in half if you're really thinking, oh man, I got to read through that. I got to go through that. You don't have to, and nobody should fault you if you don't have the time, if you can't take the time to. But I just believe there's a lot of good data in here for you fellow researchers that are researching this stuff. I believe it's very important not only to go through these documents and to document things, to make notes. What sticks out to you? What do these notes tell you? What do these pages tell you? That's what really matters. Not what I tell you what it says. I know what it says. I think anybody that can read this knows what it says also. And what it doesn't say is more important. So into the latent prints, right? So we're getting back, this is 122, what it looks like. Let me make sure, because, okay, so page 54. So what I'm reading from is from page 55 of the 488 page document, the most recent PDF document that we got, going over all of this data, which is a lot here. There is a lot here, and there's a lot of good stuff here, and there's a lot of stuff that you could see that they did right. That is really impressive, especially some of the bullet stuff, which is about halfway through. Some of that's really good. Just how they try to match up the bullets, try to match up 57 to, I think, 31, and to a test bullet fired from item 1, and how similar they are and all that. And that's all great and everything, but stuff like that I found very helpful so far. So Joe Cooksley says, hey Chris, I talked to Marty in Latent Prints. He said he thinks this can be used for comparison, and that if the actual card is needed, that it could be requested at a later time. So this also tells us that they did not have David's actual card, his fingerprint card. Would they have like a photocopy? That's kind of what it looks like. So they're using a photocopy or something like that. I don't know. And this is his military fingerprint card. I need to make sure that that's clear. The Minnesota BCA, yes, one second. The Minnesota BCA was requesting from the FBI David Crowley's military fingerprint card. So that is a fact. Okay, one second. Obviously, my cat takes precedence. She knows when we're live. I'm convinced that she knows. This is what she does. One second here. Come on. Let's go. What's wrong? All right, sorry about that. I'm back. I'm gonna look in the chat room to see if I didn't miss anything. So let's see. Enough to freak the dogs out. Inside the Cave, thanks for joining us here. Hopefully I didn't miss everyone. Hey, Michaela, thanks for joining us as well. Trying to get caught up on just the chat, and so I'll be looking over here from time to time in the chat. Let's see. Oh wow, my head looks really greasy. That's all right. Pretty funny. Okay, and now maybe I need to sit down. Maybe I need to pull the mic up a little bit more. It's cutting off the top of my head. So maybe I'll work on that a little bit. As long as as long as I'm a little bit down, that should be all right. Okay, so the notes tell me that the beer in Minnesota is really strong. Wow. I guess one day I'm gonna have to test that out myself. I do plan on going out to Minnesota one of these days. One of these days that will happen. No problem. And I'm not a beer drinker, but yeah, I guess we'll see. We'll do some research on that. How about that? All right. Let's keep moving on here. Again, thanks everybody for joining us. Sorry, I forgot to put the mic up here. This is where it's supposed to be. This is where it's the best. I'm still trying to figure out what side, this and that, but I think right here generally seems to come out the best here. And I'll try to slouch down a little bit. So, okay, so we went through that. right? This is David. So on page 55, just to clarify, just the first point that we're making here on page 55, they do mention David Crowley's military fingerprint card. The BCA is requesting it, and they are requesting it. They put in a request to the FBI, Travis Yarborough, and what it looks like is that this is a copy of the military fingerprint card. So, according to what Joe Cooksley tells Chris Olson, both of them are with the Minnesota BCA. Joe Cooksley tells him, he says, "Hey Chris, I talked to Marty and Leighton Prince. He said he thinks this can be used for comparison, and that if the actual card is needed, that it could be requested at a later time." So the question is, would this military card be requested at a later time if they could not prove that David Crowley could be tied to any of these things? Or were they just looking for just one? Did they just need one? Because they did find one on that notepad. They have one fingerprint of David Crowley's left middle finger, but that's it. So, I mean, at that point, do you say, you know what? Yeah, maybe we do need this card. Maybe we actually need this military card. Maybe they got it later, but I didn't see that either. And that's why it's very important because, like you said, I mean, there's a lot to go through. Here. All right, so the mistake, okay, on this next page I have a mistake here. I'm not sure what the mistake is. I didn't note it, so I will have to make sure that I come back to that one. So keep that one. That's why always, whenever you're doing notes, it's always good to, make sure you not just mark the page, but mark what you want to be covered into this page. This was another one that I found interesting, and this must be probably about 54, 55, 56, page 57. I did not number these, and I will go back. Some of the ones I did number, but some of these I did number. So page 57 is a conversation, and I think what is weird with this is it says, Sergeant said, due to case management issues, indented writing will not be conducted. And LMH, which is I think Lisa, LMH is only to scan the question evidence going to latent print and nothing else. So again, it's like, wow, I mean, not even the real prints, not taking more time. And this was dated 4/29/2015. Lisa Kinselli. So I'm not sure if why more wasn't done when they, let me put it like this. If they were so content on blaming this on David and they're not finding what they're looking for, why not do those more tests? Why not put in more? I mean, to me, I think that's the problem. Of course, this is what, January, February, March, April. So this is in April of 2015. By that time, the friends and the family are all brainwashed pretty much into thinking that David Crowley is guilty. Now, I think a lot of them have doubts, and they express those doubts, but it still comes back to the same thing of that David Crowley is guilty, when that is obviously not what we're seeing here. Another note that I made here was on page 58, and I'm going to read a little bit of this. Here we go. Okay, from Joe Cooksley, and this is dated 8/3/2015. This is a phone conversation between Joe Cooksley and Brian Bone. Cooksley says, spoke with Brian Bone to notify him that the LP report was issued on 7/31/2015. So the report is issued on 7/31/2015. Seems like by April, they're pretty much like, we don't need to do any more. It's all good. Don't need to worry about that. Let's keep moving on, right? And he says, I also asked him being Brian Bone, I also asked him if he felt that any additional question document work will need to be done on writing that was previously documented on the notepad from the office, the apparent known writing samples, and the images of the writing on the living room wall. He said that further question documents analysis was not needed at this time. So by 7/31/2015, they pretty much got everything that they need from the additional question documents. writing that was previously documented on the notepad from the office, the apparent known writing samples, and the images of the writing on the living room wall. They were done by 7/31/2015, which is right before they closed this case. That's pretty much it for that one. All right, one more second as my darling cat here comes back in. We're going to skip to page 94. That's going to be your job. All right? You have plenty of food, have everything you need. Yeah, that's one of the flaws of going live here. When you have a live cat living its life. Page 94. All right, let's see what the note I made here. Not sure why I made this note. That's interesting. 218. Okay, I made this note because I was trying to note anything that was tied with the police coming back in February. Page 95 is a very important one. If you guys can, if you get a chance, please look at page 95 of the big BCA 488 pager, because 485 page, I believe. I keep going back and forth because the last two are very similar, but have a lot of different documentation in it. So this last request that we got on page 95, this is some of Joe Cooksley's notes about the bullet in the attic. And I think there's a lot of good stuff here. Some of it is foreign to me. A lot of it is foreign, I should say. And some of his handwriting is hard to understand too. But I think this kind of gives us somebody could take this page, take this note, and probably figure out where they're saying that the bullet was coming from, where it was going, where they think, blah, blah, blah. We can kind of guess. I kind of have a good idea, but I think this really, if my idea of what I think in my head doesn't match what's on here, then obviously I'm going to go with this. That's on this paper. Doesn't mean I'm going to stop there. Doesn't mean, oh, whatever is here, that's it. It's truth. It's golden. No. But I'm going to start here. So I obviously we go back and forth, like, oh, well, it could be this. Oh, it could be that. Okay, well, this is what they say here. Well, can that be true because of this, because of that? So just work it all out, right? We're just working all of this stuff out. But page 95, I think, is a very good page if people could go through that. And we did have somebody, I don't know whatever happened to him, but we did have somebody who was going to actually do this test and actually in a safe environment, in an open environment where nobody could get hurt or anything, kind of build a wall, right? Build almost like a room with a ceiling on it, and shoot the same caliber, shoot the same thing, shoot the same type of bullet into the ceiling for distance, to try to measure distance and see what it would look like, et cetera, et cetera. I'm sure a lot of people don't need that, it doesn't need to be done. But somebody offered to do it, and I thought it was a good idea. And there are no bad ideas when it comes to really trying to figure out what happened in this case, as long as your heart is in the right place, as long as you're doing it to get to the truth. That's all that matters. Don't worry about anything else. So that was that note. Page 96 is really, chicken scratchy, but it also deals with item 57 with that bullet. So I was hoping, people might want to go through that one as well. Hey, Beach Waves, how's it going? Yeah, I haven't gotten a chance to read some of your comments that you've made on the videos. I'm so far behind. I got the Bohemian Grove thing coming up too, and the book and everything else, and just work, all that stuff. So I do see it, and I will make sure that I get back to you with those comments, to check out what those comments are, because if people are willing to take the time to make comments, to make respectful comments, just good comments, not comments that are purposely made to just stir up trouble, I do want to make sure that I take the time to respond to you, and not to give a quick response, but to actually read what you're writing, look at it, and give you an honest response based on what I'm thinking about this case right now. That's all that I can do. So I will make sure that I do that. All right. Let's see. Yeah, cat is a star. Page 100. I have another note here. This might deal with the presence. Oh, this is what I wanted to know. So on page 100, what I was looking at is no signs of forced entry to exterior doors or windows. Very nice. I'm so glad that they point that out about 5,000 times, but can't seem to look up and see if there's any holes or anything, any blood, anything. I mean, there's blood on the wall, on the living room wall. It's, anyways, they looked at the chandelier. They looked at the lights in the kitchen. They looked at the Christmas tree. They were looking in that area. Didn't see it. Didn't see a big bullet hole right there. Okay, so anyways, page 100, the tramp down snow. So it says, and I'm thinking it says tramped, right? I was thinking like trampled down snow in front walkway, trampled down snow on west side of the house and on the deck near the sliding door. Trampled, I don't know if it's trampled or tramped, but tramped down snow in backyard. No discernible foot plus shoe prints. So that was just kind of where I mean, there's snow everywhere, tramp down snow, whatever it is. So the BCA, Joe Cooksley, is noticing this. Of course, he came later, so this is after all the cops and the neighbors and everybody else have been walking around the whole house. And, you know, I don't know. We can only go by what those first photos show, as far as what was tramped down before the police tramped something down and after. But Joe Cooksley does make sure to note that, and so I think that's why I marked this little note here. Moving on, only a few more, guys. Just wanted to make this really quick, but I just felt, you know, going back through this and looking at all of this stuff over and over again has really helped me. It really has. Let's see. Okay, I made a note here. 3 deceased, package presents on the front. Neighbor walked to check in on the family. Saw 3 dead in the living room. Called police. Dog has been removed from residence. Shoe prints in snow around back and deck. I'm not sure why I made this note here. See if there's anything. Oh, maybe I just wanted to document who was there. Maybe, I don't know. But I will work on that as well. Maybe the shoe prints. Severe area and blood. The following areas were tested by BMW. The living room, item 13, pH plus. Apparently bloody footprints near the island. That's item 14 and 15, both pH plus. Wall of island, item 16 and 17. Then it has 17 scratched out for whatever reason. And let's see, living room floor, items 18 through 20. Kitchen floor, item 21. Item 21 on the kitchen floor I think is really odd too, that it's just kind of like there. It's pretty random, but that's all right. Blood on the laptop and a key on the laptop. On the island counter, tissue box. Not sure what I thought was so important at that point, but obviously don't think it's too important now. But hey, Kath or Kath? Kath Middleton. Hi from the UK. Let's see, inside the cave, I do find it kind of weird that the cops and friends are monitoring a government hit or something. Yeah, everything that we heard, and I was going back through my notes about Jim Gummert and everything, all of the criticism, right? The big thing, one of the early things, one of the first things that they say is that we think that it's a government hit. It's all a government hit. It's all a government hit. It's like they give you 2 choices. Either it's a government hit or David Crowley's guilty. Neither of those can really be proven at this point, I don't think. So I thought that was kind of odd. Yeah, no one mentioned it except them. I mean, they were there were so many people, the alternative media, and this is what frustrates me about the alternative media is when they come so quick out and just whoever it is, different sites for whatever their reasons are, come out and tell you this was a government hit. They pretty much got it all figured out in about 30 seconds, right? And we haven't even gotten all of these documents. We haven't even gotten like so many different things, haven't looked at it that deep, but they've already got it figured out. So it's that does kind of make people roll their eyes and not take it seriously, especially when that's the easy target for people that are looking for anything that might help cast doubt, for anything that would help them show that, to kind of make us question, right? To cast doubt about the theory that maybe there was foul play, right? They don't even want us thinking about that. They don't want us going there. So I think that is a lot of it. And when you see this stuff over and over again, it is a program. It's part of the same program, right? Right, Kitty? It sure is. Um, let's see. I have noted here item 12. Oh, item 11 and 12, 17 were pheno-tested by AB. Item 39 was pheno-tested by JAC, which is Joe Cooksley. Items 13 through 16, 18 through 21, 23 through 29, and 32 through 35 were pheno-tested by BMW. And no, that's not by the car. I think it's Beth something Wolf. So this kind of shows us what was tested. Yet, when we're looking at the results of item 11 and 12, we don't get both of those. I believe we only get the results for item 11. But this shows that that item 12 was tested. If it was tested, why don't we have the result of item 12 here? And let me see if I can. I should have marked some of these pages. So I'm gonna. That is on. That's gonna be too far back, probably. Definitely past 100. So definitely past 100 there. I will get that photo. But I mean, it's stuff like that where they're saying that they tested these things, and then there's no result of the test. Pheno test. Okay, so maybe it's just not. Obviously it's a different type of test, but it was just interesting. Why 12? 12, item 11 is the A in Ala'u on the blood wall. Item 12 is the B in Akbar. And they test the A, right? And we get a result for the A. We don't get a result for the B, which made me think that they didn't even test it. They weren't even looking at it. But notes say, no, they did some type of test. All right. Moving on from there. Okay, Inside the Cave says the movie he was making definitely shed the government in a negative light. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, you're definitely right there. I mean, I don't know if how far he was trying to take it, but definitely when you have police agencies breaking down your door and taking you out of your house, yeah, I can definitely see that. Like the government would have to be pretty bad to be in that type of a situation that we would have to worry about. Yeah, it's very, very serious. Another page that I noticed here, the firearm worksheet. Okay, so you'll see the firearm worksheet, maybe a little bit about halfway down. The thing that I noticed here that I did not notice before, and when I went back and looked at the photos that we have of the gun, it does show this. How may I help you? How may I help you? You want to come sit over here? You want to get on camera? No, she doesn't want to get on camera. So what I noticed about this firearm worksheet is there is a black rubber Hogu grip sleeve on grip. So there's like a black rubber sleeve on this grip, which I did not notice. Now I see it. I see what they're saying now. I went back and looked at it. It doesn't mean too much, but still it's interesting to have that rubber grip. I don't know. I just found that interesting. Doesn't mean it's connected to anything that happened or didn't happen, but I do like that. Okay, the load. Oh, and another one on that same page. This is page 1 of 1, firearm worksheet. And another thing that I kind of noted here was that there was a loaded chamber indicator, cocked indicator. So it was loaded, like everything, it was ready to go, and I must have just made a note of that for some reason. Now, I'm going to pull this one out here, because I like this and I don't like this. I like the fact that they give us things, you probably can't see it that well, but what they give us is the actual bullet and what happened to the bullet. We're going to see a lot of pages like this. The problem is they're in black and white. So one of the things that I'd like to do if I get more time, or if somebody would like to help me, is go through this document, find all the pages that are in black and white, and I'll just request color copies of those. That would definitely help if anybody has some free time to help with that. Let's keep on moving on. Shadow corporations. Yeah, Romeo, you could be right. Shadow corporations are everywhere. Depending on, I guess, if what you consider a shadow and what you consider a corporation. But there's some evil, powerful people, whatever you want to label them. Yeah, no doubt. You never know. So, do the police have body cams? I don't think so. Dan Hinnon requested cams from the vehicles, but I don't believe they had body cams back then. That's my understanding now. I do believe whoever they talked to that they recorded them, unless they said that they did not record them, meaning there are people that the police interviewed that they did record the full audio, and there are other people that they didn't feel that it was necessary. So another good thing would be to get the transcripts of the interviews that the police made. They might not want to give us the actual audio, which is fine. I'd prefer the audio. But if we can't get the audio, maybe we can get a transcript of that audio, you know. Let's see. All right, next container. Oh, this kind of brought back, and this is kind of for, I wish I would have marked some of these pages better. I'm sorry about that, but they're all in this, and I'll be able to go back and maybe I'll add some of these pages that I'm talking about here. This is another note page here, and this one, so I can pull this one out too to kind of help maybe. This one I thought was very important because what it says, it's just a good note. It's a good reminder about the bullets and these bullet casings. So the good thing about this page that I saw here is, wait a minute, I started thinking, okay, we know they didn't find item 57 when they left the house. We know they didn't find item 53, but how many shells did they find? Looking at this, that's why I was kind of looking at the shells. So the shells, the cartridge cases, are labeled as 2, 3, 9, 30, 36, and 37, which makes me wonder if 36 is the cartridge case that is tied to item 53, and that 37 is the cartridge case that is tied to item 57. Yeah, 36 tied to 53, 37 tied to 57. The problem with that is what they say here about these bullets. Because in this page, and I'm going to pull this out one more time, this was before they found 53 or 57. So this is what a lot of people have been talking about when they left the house with apparently with 6 cartridges, 6 cases, but only only 4 bullets, 5 I guess if you count. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, that's frustrating. So anyways, the only point there was just, I was just thinking, well, which, I mean, you can't really tie these cartridges, cases, to the actual bullets, right? You can't say, oh, well, this one fired that one, this one was that one. But what cartridge case was tied to item 57? Let me put it like that. What cartridge case was tied to item 53? Because this is all before they have 53 or 57. And so that was frustrating, very frustrating to me, very frustrating that they would just look at this, take note, okay, cool, it's good, you know, no need to go back. Let's not go back in a day or two. Let's send a cleaning company in there who's going to do our work for us and find it for us, pretty much. So lots of good bullet stuff, but again, I can't see some of it just because it's all in black and white. So that's a little frustrating. All right, only a few more here. Let me see if there's anything in the chat. Hope everybody's doing good. Thank you all for joining me here. And if you have anything that you do want to ask or talk about, put it in the chat. I'll try to get to it. I'm going to be here for a little bit longer. I do appreciate everybody's hanging out here. You know, it is kind of difficult when you have a full-time job and you do have a lot of other things going on, but you can only do what you can do, and you have to balance it out. You know, make sure you're not burning yourself out looking into this case, because you can burn out very quickly. And we need as many good researchers as we can get to look at this, not from our point of view, but from your point of view, and to just, whatever it is, what are you seeing here? What do these documents tell you? Where in these documents, where does it say David Crowley is guilty? I don't see it. I've gone through these multiple times. You can make some connections, but it's not based on facts. It's not based on this stuff. Not when they can't really put the gun in David's hand. Not when they can't really say that David wrote any of this stuff. They're guessing, they're speculating, but they also refuse to do other tests that would help prove it. Can't have it. They can't have it both ways. You know? So, anyways, let's see. Justin Stone. Hey, Justin. Thanks for joining us here. In 2014, they hadn't quite taken off yet. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that. Yeah. I kind of. That's a really good point there. And I will be in touch with you too at some point for sure. Let's see. Beachwave says 3 things cannot be long hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth. Nice. Well, I see the sun. I saw the sun driving home, I saw the moon driving home. I saw the sun when I was driving to work. So, yeah, I guess I'm just sitting here waiting on the truth, right? Good to see you too, Justin. But you're right, Beachwaves, for sure. All right. Romeo Whiskey says, gotta go. Take care of yourself, Greg. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining us here. I do appreciate that. And so one of the other pages does have some of the fired bullet worksheet on 57 and 53. A lot of this is good. There's some good notes here to just kind of go through. What I noticed is what's nice is they have 53 in one section, 57 in the other. And you can see the actual weight. You can see some interesting things here. The weight was kind of interesting to me. 53 was a little bit smaller. But again, doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean I'm trying to make anything more out of it. But they're not, 53 and 57 are not as similar as I was expecting them to be. Moving on to the next. See, I don't think you're going to be able to see this or not, but this was kind of cool. I like stuff like this, where they're taking two, so what you have is a bullet on one side, a bullet on the other side, and what they're doing is they're matching, right? You can see the clear match right here, right? You see that match? Well, it's probably hard to see it because it's in a black and white Xerox, but aside from that, you probably would be able to see it, I would assume. So I wanted to throw that in there as well. Angela. Hey, Angela. Thanks for joining us. Angela says, I still believe that greed over being cut out of a Hollywood deal is motive. Okay, so I still believe that greed over being cut out of a Hollywood deal is motive. Interesting. Plus the missing 50K. Yeah, I'm so glad people keep talking about that 50K, because it is just like, there is just so much here that I can't put my whole focus onto it, and until I do, I really try not to say too much on it about those things. So I'm really glad people keep bringing up that 50K, because it's a head scratcher for so many reasons, for so many reasons. But I still need to look further deep into it. So they have, here's a good one. This is a test item, a test fire. You're probably not going to be able to see this that well either, but it's all here in the documents if you do want to look. Just look for the big section of a bunch of black pages where you can barely see anything. These are bullets. On one side, you have a test fire. On this side, you have a test fire, right? And then on this side, you have item 57. This is what would be used to tie item 57 to the bullet, not item 31. but but here's why. That's what I thought, right? But here's why. Then they're going to show us item 57 to item 31, and now I get it. Now I see it makes sense. Item 57 and item 31. Okay, here's item 57, here's item 31. Very similar. Very similar. Most bullets coming out of the same gun would probably be similar too. The difference is one of these is supposed to have hit a human being, traveled up into the ceiling, bounced off of the board on the attic, and then landed itself back down. So it's important to know if this one that was fired, if the test bullet that was fired was shot into a ceiling or not. And again, I apologize for not having the page numbers. I know that makes it a lot easier, but I will definitely work on that. All right, cat problems. 99 problems, and my cat is all of them. I'll be right back. All right. So again, thanks everybody for joining here. I appreciate it. We're just trying to find what's going on. That's it. Trying to get some answers, some clear answers. They're not here. It's not here. All right. All right. So what do I have here? This is a processing page. Oh, this is the acid yellow. Okay. Yeah, I saved that. I'll save that for later. But trying to understand the tests and what they tested with, why it was used, etc., etc. Definitely more on that. So let's see. Okay, LP latent print 1B-2, which is from the magazine. And this is a note, Jennifer Kostrowski, dated 3/13/2015, in regards to the latent prints. Consulted with Dennis Randall about LP1B-2 discussion. The discussion included whether IMP was one or two prints, an orientation, and also shown item 49, so will not be verified for case. Let's see. He agreed it could be one or two prints. So the print labeled as LP1B-2 could be one or two prints. That's what they're saying. And that print was unusual. He says, and that print was unusual. So I'm curious what makes it unusual. And when you look at it, when you look at the print, what looks like a fingerprint on the magazine, it does kind of look like two. So they're looking at that. They're looking at some things. They're looking at a lot of things, not just some things, but they are looking at a lot of things. So I don't believe that they did a bad job, like they just messed up or this or that. I don't believe that, because on some things they took a lot of time. They did a lot of things right. Let's see, coupled with low quality makes it difficult to determine. Okay, so the quality of that print, I guess, was low, so they couldn't determine it. But it is possible that LP1B-2 is 2 prints, not just 1. And it's, quote, unusual. Looking at item 41A. Let's see what I have here. Item 41A. Okay, this just goes through which pages had blood and which didn't. And there are a lot that do have blood. It's very interesting, the pages that do and the pages that don't have blood on them. Some of the front and back. Just, yeah, all over. Yet they only test one, or they only find one print that is conclusively David's in Kamel's blood. I'm assuming. I'm hoping. All right, LP41A30-1. This is a page from the notepad. And what's nice is they have the whole notepad in here too. You get the whole 59 pages that they found. Some pages were obviously torn out. Read that notepad too. I'd love one day to come back and do just a whole show just on this notepad and everything that's in this notepad. It's very interesting, and I think also shows more plans for the future, not a decline. What's interesting is this notepad, where it's found. Why didn't David just write everything here? Right? He had a computer. Why didn't he type it up in the office computer? He had the laptop open. Why'd he type anything there? Why not move this, whatever he's writing, move this out into the kitchen where his body's going to be? Why not put it closer to his body? Why put it in a completely separate room to where we now have 3 different writings that nobody can tie David to in 3 separate rooms? That's a problem. And it's a bigger problem when we read that they say, no, we don't need to do any more testing on that. Really, you didn't find what you're looking for? You're not going to do any more testing? And you're still going to accuse David Crowley of being guilty? I don't think so. I don't think so. Okay, so blood on that. 2 more here. I'll take a few comments if you guys have any, and then we'll come back again. So, like I said, one of the next things that I really want to do is to be able to where we can make it more interactive and more where people can call in, like to the free conference call, where in theory you would be able to call in right now. I'd have something on my screen, not me, but I'd have something on my screen that we're looking at, and we just talk about it, can discuss whatever. So I'm all for that. On the notepad, another one of these case notes. Like I said, there's a lot of good information. Lots and lots. I know I keep saying that, but there really is. There really is. And I just ran out of different things to really note it with. But I'll come back. I'll come back and do a second one on that. But I'd love to do one. Maybe the next one I do will just focus on the notepad, and we'll just kind of focus there. Because there's just so much here. Let's see. I'm going to go back a little bit before I get to these last ones. Justin Stone. The print on the pistol magazine really struck me as odd. Tell me why it struck you as odd. I'd like to know, because I believe I think there were multiple blood spots on that, but to have it on the magazine is odd, right? Let me ask you this, and not just to Justin, but to anybody, you know, if there was the blood on the magazine, right, the print, whatever it is, the print in blood on there, doesn't that show that whoever used the gun had to reload at some time? Which is weird too, right? And if it had to reload, does item 7, the unspent bullet, that was never tested, again, for whatever reason, just no need to test it, does item 7 also show that at some point, maybe the gun jammed or something, but at some point they had to reload, or let's just say this, they had to take the magazine out of the gun. I think that's fair to say, right? Let me know. Let's see. Inside the cave at Angela, I agree. And there's documented arguments between David and Danny Mason over rights to the movie. Oh yeah. There's a lot of that, and all that began. I mean, the documents began, I think, around August or so, maybe even earlier. And if you look at some of David's social media stuff and some of the things that he's posting, it probably did begin a lot earlier um, than September. But it did get pretty heated. And what's interesting is at the same time that Danny Mason is trying to work out this deal, or he needs to have his lawyer look at the contracts before he signs it. At that same time, that all that is going on, that never really ends up until December. 1 month later, when Danny Mason talks to the cops, he tells them that he was not involved in this project except for an actor. He was just an actor, which is not true. The police I mean, it shouldn't take them long to figure that out. Do they need to be told that? Would that help? Would that change anything? Would that, help reopen the case? I don't know, but definitely there was some arguments going on. There was definite, and it was bigger than what they tried to make it. And that's the other thing, is they tried to hide it from us too. You don't need to hide it if it's true, right? Hiding it can lead people to think that there was foul play, even if there wasn't. So just be honest with it. But why keep that from the cops? Why not tell the cops, hey, we were going through this, and we had some issues. Did the cops get any record of these exchanges? How much record did they get? I'd be curious to know that as well. All right, good peeps. Let's see. Let's see. What do we do? Justin Stone says, I don't ever take a magazine out of a firearm unless I'm emptying or reloading. All right, great. So that's exactly what I wanted to know. I probably should have read down before I started running my mouth, but that's all right. We're okay. I think we're back. Pretty sure we're back now. So I'm going to go through some more of these comments here, and then we'll just wrap this up. Probably got about just a few more minutes if it's still going, if it's still live. Looks live to me. All right, let us see here. Bugs. Hey, Bugs. Bugs says there were still 2 to 3 bullets unaccounted for. Okay, I definitely need to know more about which ones are unaccounted for. And I'm sure you say, oh, the magazine was missing 2 or 3. Yeah, let's do a count on that. I'd like to hear more about that one for sure. So because there was one in the chamber that they found, and there were 2 in the magazine. That's all that I really know of. And then all of the other ones, so 6 and 9, yeah, there's 12, right? So there should be 12. And then again, it also goes back to the fact, do we even know that the magazine was fully loaded too? So I think that's another thing that we need to think about as well. So, but it is interesting that because the shells that they find, they only find 6 shells. They only find six cartridge casings. So I don't know. Wouldn't that say 6, right? And then you have 1. You have number 7, so that's 7. Then you have the 1 in the chamber, that's 8. You have 2 in the magazine, that's 10. So yeah, there's still 2 missing, but again, that's if it was fully loaded at that time. And to be honest with you, I don't know too many people that don't keep it fully loaded. So there you go. Let's see. Justin says David had another mag in his safe that was full, so taking the mag out makes very little sense from David's point of view when considering if it was truly a murder suicide. Yeah, and I mean that's even more evidence I think that shows that the magazine found, the one that Bugs is talking about, that's more evidence that it probably was full, right? Because you have one full, why not have the other one full? Especially when you don't really have bullets ready there. I think there might have been bullets somewhere else, but They documented all of that, and I don't remember them saying anything except for the bullets that they found, the casings, right? All there was like it was a big case of different bullets that they found in the garage, in the car garage. So in the trunk of one of the cars. So that made me think, obviously maybe they were leaving somewhere in the process of leaving. It's not usual to have that much stuff just in there, but I don't know. Who knows? Could be thinking too much into it. Let's see. Inside the cave, maybe because they've been half loaded or something. Yeah, it could have been, but that's the thing. We just don't really know. But Justin says, I don't always keep my mags all the way full. If I have a range day, I may not be able to fill my mags. Interesting. Let's see. Do people inside the cave, says Justin, do people usually carry bullets in their trunk of their car? That's a great question. And if he was coming to California, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and again, if you're headed out of town, yeah. But I don't know what the Minnesota law is, if that's something you have to do, or what. But they're passing a whole bunch of different laws here about buying bullets in California. But yeah, you can't have the gun. I think you got to have the gun, I think, not in your trunk, but anyways, I don't want to go there too much. All right, let's see. Bug says, yes, the magazine wasn't filled completely. Justin Stone says, there are. I have the pics up right now. Interesting. Okay, Bug says there are 6 or 7 bullets found at the crime scene and 3, I think, left in the magazine. Correct. So, or 2 in the mag, 1 in the chamber. Angela says, I know I keep different guns loaded with different kinds of ammo, such as home defense or my concealed carry, personal preference type of thing. I do have a couple mags I don't load all the way. Interesting. Inside the case is definitely an actor. That's true. Yeah, an actor. Danny Mason was an actor. He is an actor, but come on, he's more than an actor when it comes to the Gray State Project. From his own words, he was more involved, and he felt that he should have been more involved, or at least should have been given something more. And anyways, that's a whole nother issue where you can clearly see that David promises him that Danny Mason's character will still be a part of the series and will be the main actor and all that stuff. I very little that I know about Hollywood, I still find that it's hard to believe. Maybe if Danny Mason had some powerful people kind of backing him, making sure that he was going to be the main actor in the Gray State TV series, okay, I could see that. But when the Michael Entertainment Group is not even talking to Danny Mason, at that point, you can see Danny Mason, to them, is just an actor. But Danny Mason, by his own words, involved with this Gray State Project, is not just an actor. Let's see. Justin, I don't generally keep bullets in my car unless they're in a mag. That makes sense. I mean, I think it's good to do both, but I remember we used to stock up on bullets. Still good to stock up on them. Angela says, when we have a range day, we do take ammo depending on what we are shooting, how many guns we're taking, etc. Yes, they may be in my truck for a day or two. That's a good point. Maybe he had come from the range, or maybe he was planning on going to the range or something. That could be it. So, all right. So, last thing here before I go, I did want to say the notebook pages were examined for hairs, fibers, and other possible microscopic evidence. None of any kind was located. I'll say that again because I think my mic hit the... So here we go. So notebook pages were examined for hairs, fibers, and other possible microscopic evidence. None of any kind was located. Other thing here, there is a side light examination of item 41, the cover and the pages. Side light examinations of the cover, item 41, and pages included item 41A, revealed indented impressions not produced from writing present within the spiral notepad. And they were present on the following pages. present on the front side of page 20 and the front side of page 21. And these are listed as item 41A-20, item 41A-21. These are indented impressions, and then later on they will show what those indented impressions are. Since that does relate to the notepad, I'm going to save that for next time. And thank you all for joining me here. And next time I will I'll come back and discuss the notepad. In the very near future, I do want to do another conference call, and I'm hoping that we can do it where people can watch here. That is the next goal, is that we can do the conference call here. So I will be working on that. Thank you all for joining me. Till next time.